Hello, Marky Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life. And my subject today is, call it fiduciary responsibility for crowdfunding. We all know that there are projects out there, Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and other crowd funding platforms where projects have failed. And this is something that happens, and it's why at the bottom of like all Kickstarters you see a risks and challenges section on there. So, but I encountered something about a week ago when I was in Austin, and I was hanging out with the Crowfall development team and the Shroud of the Avatar development team, both of which are crowdfunded. And it was something that I didn't know and that I didn't understand, and that I think is very important to share with you because of how they are treating things and what concerns there are in the industry about how others are treating things. And I'm not going to get into naming names on who the bad boys are, but I'm sure that all of you can figure it out. There's plenty of information in the press and everything about what crowdfunding projects are, experiencing difficulties and experiencing issues of not managing their money properly. And there's a lot of video game developers that have a lot of experience in this area and are very concerned because they worry that what's going to happen is that a rather large project is going to fail, and then it's going to bring the whole crowdfunding industry down, or bring in government regulation. And if we bring in government regulation on this, then we're going to see maybe the destruction of crowdfunding. It's possible. Because like right now, if you want people to invest in your company, it's like 7 or 11 people total that can invest in a company before you have to go through a whole nother level of requirements and filing with the government and putting all this paperwork out. And it's really, it's kind of a breaking point where it's like, okay, well, we may as well be a public company and go public, and have shares or whatever for, that people can buy. But that's not an easy thing to do. That's really big. And then you have board of directors that just wants all of the pennies. Every single penny is extra, so this quarter we have to earn more money. We have to do it for our shareholders. There's some games out there that do have shareholders, and look at how EA treats games. EA treats games as money points. Like, this game has to be out at this particular time, and it has to be out on time, and I don't care if you guys have to crunch for 6 months to hit that target. Crunching, by the way, for devs, you all know what it means. For those of you who are players, don't know what it means. It means working 7 days a week, 10, 12, 14 hours a day, 7 days a week for the whole crunch period to hit your target. And then when you hit the launch date, it better be done. Because sometimes it's not, and it launches anyway. And we as players all know what happens when that happens. So, anyway, getting back to the subject here, which is that crowdfunding is awesome, but it can be mistreated. And so, like I said, I was out at Crowfall and I was out at Portalarium. And let me just tell you a little story here. So, I was out to dinner with a bunch of the Crowfall guys, and including Todd, who is one of the founders of Crowfall. And I had heard that they really are proud of how they treat money that has been given to them by the pledges and the players, their prepayments on this game. And so when they came around with the bill, I looked at Todd and he barked at me. And it kind of surprised me a little bit, but he barked at me. He's like, "Don't look at me. We're not spending any backer money on this." We were all out to dinner, and it was I would call it a business meeting and stuff. And it was one where traditionally in the video game industry, someone would pick up the tab for the whole thing. And that still happens with a lot of games. And it's normal. Well, he barked that at me, and I was like, oh, guess I'm paying for myself. Which is fine. I don't have any problem with that. In fact, one of the other times, I decided that the guys that I was out with on one of the teams, that I bought them all lunch, and it was just kind of the way, it's the way I do things. And so, anyway, this surprised me a little bit. And when I was in their offices, they were very open with me on their financials and the lengths of time, like how much money they've got and what their cost of development is per month, the cost of operations is per month, how far scheduled out they are, how far they have funding to, what goals they need to meet and everything, and what they need to do to reach the end of the game. Or not the end of the game, but the launch of the game. And it was all very well laid out. Gordon Walton takes care of all the financials there, and he's got it just all laid out, and it's really good. And I was surprised at how open they were with me, because they shared way more information than any company I've ever been to would. And it's because it's like I'm a shareholder. Because I have paid in, I bought my account, even though I'm a business partner with them, I bought my personal account, and so I don't remember how much I paid. It was I don't know, $300, $400, maybe $500. I don't remember how much I paid, but it was not just $50 or whatever into the game, and so they treated me like I was a shareholder and basically answered any questions that I had and made all the information available. And it felt kind of good. It felt like, okay, this is the exact type of thing I'm talking about. And this is something where I am, I'm pleased because I am a backer. And so both Crowfall and Shadow of the Avatar treat it very, very similar. Gordon's a little bit more hardcore with Crowfall, but they both feel like it's very, very important that the money is not used improperly, it's not squandered, and that they can, anything that they purchase or whatnot, or any portion of this money that they spend, that they can answer truthfully and without distress, why that was spent, justification. And so, they're not justifying new cars, they're not justifying new buildings. Neither one of them are in really lavish settings. And in fact, some of their desks and stuff are fold-out tables, and some of them are nicer, tables and stuff, and some of them have nice big monitors, but they're usually like the art guys, design guys, some of the computer systems are older and stuff. They're not overspending, and so I just want to give them props for this, because it is, it's just not. It's not the way of video game development that I've always known. And it is in the face of some other examples who have really poor money management going on with their crowdfunded games. And it just makes me, one, thankful that both these games are going to make it. I mean, like Shadow of the Avatar is already fully persistent and everything. They haven't hit launch date yet, but that's coming up. And Crowfall, I can see it, and I know that they have the funding, to complete all of this because I've seen it. So, props to them, and any of you who are thinking about, doing a Kickstarter or whatever for your game, talk to like the Crowfall guys or the Shadow of the Avatar guys, because they can tell you how they're doing it, and they actually are open to sharing that. And it's a really good model for how to proceed for games in the future. And if you are a player and you are looking for, whether or not, you're trying to judge whether or not this is a good investment for you, ask these questions. How are you going to treat the money? Are you going to treat it as if, this is all donations and you're going to jail if you misspend $1? Or are you going to treat it that, holy shit, we hit twice our goal, I'm buying a new Ferrari while we make this game? Just saying. So anyway, that is it for today. Something to think about and something to encourage any Kickstarters you see out there. Encourage them, I don't know, to see this video or to talk to others that are doing it right or whatever. But tell them that you want them to show what their plan is for how they're going to manage the money. And because if they do it properly, then the game will release. If they do it improperly, even if they had enough money to make the game come out, it could still fail. And we don't want that. I'm Marky Dragon. Take care.